What's up, bullish friends? Hope you guys are doing well out there today. And I want to talk about some potentially really exciting news here. And as we get into this, I know a lot of people have been super excited about a week ago when Bitcoin shot up and we had that big gain here. And then I know a lot of people were bummed out when we saw it come right back down. And this is kind of the path that we've been on for quite a while here. We'll go up 5, 7%, 10% in some cases, and we just go right back down. So I know a lot of people were bummed out. Well, I have some potentially good news for anyone that's bummed out right now, or you're just tired of watching this market go kind of up and then sideways and then back down, back up and all that. So just today, this is posted by Bitcoin Magazine here, and this was an interview with Jay Clayton, who is the former SEC Chair, and he basically came out and said that the ETF, the Bitcoin ETF, is inevitable. It's going to happen. There's nothing that's going to stop this. It's basically on track, and it will happen. There's no reason why it shouldn't. So in this interview, and he did this interview with CNBC, and of course, I will link to both the Bitcoin Magazine source, and I'll link you over to CNBC as well. So you guys can go watch this for yourself, read any articles that might be involved in this, because I always like to list the source as well. But we're going to watch this video. I want you to just take like 2 minutes here with me. Watch this video. See what you guys think. Do you think that this is going to be inevitable? And ultimately, then we're going to discuss what this means, what I think it means, and then you can tell me what you think this means for the crypto market in general. So check this video out, and I'll see you on the other side of this.
So all that said, if you were in the chair today, would you have approved it?
Well, look, I'm not there, and I'm not going to have that kind of, I do this, he would do that. What I have said is, as this has developed, it is clear that Bitcoin is not a security. It is clear that Bitcoin is something that retail investors want access to, that institutional investors want access to. And importantly, some of our most trusted providers who are fiduciaries or have duties of best interest want to provide this product to the retail public. So I think, as Anthony said, an approval isn't inevitable. The dichotomy between a futures product and a cash product can't go on forever. And so I think that's the path we're on.
So if it's inevitable, Jay, then what is the SEC deferring? Why is the SEC deferring the applications? Are they looking for other ways, other grounds in which to try and reject these applications? And what is the case to be made when there are, futures ETFs for Bitcoin that are investors safer buying a Bitcoin futures ETF than a Bitcoin cash ETF?
But what I think we are finding out is that for a long time, and I held this view, let me be clear, and I held the view that we were uncertain whether cash trading was so easily manipulatable that retail folks should not have access to it. There are now large institutions with surveillance mechanisms who are coming in and saying, no, that's not the case. We can rely on the efficacy of the cash market to a sufficient extent where we believe this is an appropriate product. That's a shift. Now, the SEC has been given time by the DC Circuit to reassess and perhaps come up with other reasons. I don't see those. Maybe there will be some, but I don't see those.
So what's your assessment then of what Chair Gensler is doing? Why if everybody in the industry is saying it's inevitable and he's just going to look for ways to reject the applications when there's a futures ETF already on the market, what's the point here?
Well, let me say this. We'll give them time. There's a roughly 45-day time period, both in the DC Circuit and on the deferral of these applications. In the relative scheme of things, and I think Anthony was he didn't say this directly, but in the relative scheme of things, 45 days is a short amount of time. And I do expect that we'll have progress on this going forward.
All right. Hopefully you picked up on everything he was saying there, but essentially that the ETF will be approved by the SEC at some time. That is inevitable. It's going to happen. Not only does he believe this, but lots and lots of people believe this, and lots of people are speculating that this is going to happen. Now, I also think that at some point this is going to happen, and I think the SEC will approve it. And what that ultimately means for crypto in general, not just Bitcoin, is you will see a bull market probably come back once this gets approved. Now, we just had the ETF get approved for Amsterdam just a couple weeks ago. That was a big deal. Now, it would be very nice to see the SEC get on board and get one approved in the U.S. Because we could ultimately see huge gains there. Now, what I think might end up happening here is we have the halving come in here in April of next year. Yep, April of 2024. Now, when that happens, Bitcoin rewards get cut in half again. And I think you're going to see people get super excited around that time too. Imagine a scenario where both of these things happen within a couple months or even within a couple weeks of each other, and you could have the catalyst that, catapults Bitcoin to all-time highs again. And of course, once Bitcoin starts shooting to the moon, all these altcoins that we've been waiting on will follow suit. That's when all of the big gains happen, the big mega gains. So that's what I'm looking forward to. I have no clue if the SEC will approve a Bitcoin ETF in the US. I do think it will happen, but I have no clue if it will ultimately happen. And if it doesn't happen, then I'm sure there's some kind of motive on their end for why it's not happening. Okay, and we are not privy to that, and we don't get to see that. We just see the repercussions of whatever the decision is. So I could see this kind of scenario breaking out, though, where both of, like I said, where it gets approved, the ETF gets approved in the US, and then the halving happens, and all awesomeness breaks forward, for us in the crypto community. That's what I think is going to happen. I ultimately think this will get done soon. Now, Jay Clayton mentioned in his interview there that we'll know more in 45 days when the DC Circuit makes their decision and all that. So we've got a few days here that we've got to wait to see if anything is going to happen in the short term on the market here. But when it does happen, it's going to be interesting to see what happens. So what do you guys think? Do you think that the SEC will ultimately approve this, and why? And if you don't think that they will approve it, why do you think they won't approve it? And ultimately, what happens to crypto when it gets approved or doesn't get approved? Do you guys think this matters at all? Or do you think that the tech is just too good regardless, and it doesn't ultimately matter if the ETF ever gets approved? Now, you guys know my opinion. I, of course, believe that if the ETF gets approved, it's going to bring in a lot of new investors who have never even used a crypto wallet. So that's my choice. That's my opinion. So let me know what you guys think. And guys, as always, I will see you in the next video.